Breaking news that many of you will have been waiting for. You'll remember this photograph here that circled the internet for many weeks. The CPS has just confirmed in a news update that charges have been authorised against two men for this Manchester airport incident. Now, before I go through this and Greater Manchester Police response to it, I'm going to come straight to what is at the end of here, which is a prominent warning that I always give whenever I talk about any live case like this. From the moment of arrest right up until the end of a trial, and in some cases with court orders beyond that, it is always extremely important that nobody reports, comments, shares information, airs their strong views or statements of fact, etc., about an ongoing live case which in any way could prejudice the proceedings. Now, I make that warning very clearly. So first of all, you don't take any of my video to that effect, but also that you don't make comments and reporting, etc. online in any way that is going to jeopardize any proceedings against these two men. That is because it might be contempt of court to do so. And of course, everybody wants a fair trial. Both they are entitled to a fair trial, and anybody that might hold views against them would also want a fair trial, because only a fair trial can result in a fair result, whether that is a guilty or not guilty verdict, etc. Now, let's go to the start of this news release here. They say two men have been charged with offences after the incident in Manchester Airport on the 23rd of July. They've today charged two men with assaults on police officers. Mohammed Fahir Amaz, 20 years old, is charged with two offences of causing actual bodily harm, one charge of assaulting an emergency worker, and one charge of common assault. Mohammed Ahmad, 25 years old, is charged with causing actual bodily harm. Now, one important fact is that no police officers will be charged for this. Now, of course, there will be some people that believe the police officers should be charged, and people might be happy that they are not being charged. And there's also discussion as to whether or not the CPS was deciding one before the other and so on. I'm not saying that's what happened, but they've decided no police officers will be charged. These two defendants will appear at Liverpool Magistrates Court on Thursday, the 16th of January 2025. Just a brief note there, all criminal cases, even right up to the M-word cases, they all start life at the Magistrates Court. Even if they eventually go to the Crown Court, whether that's because they are indictable only, whether that's because they are sent to the Crown Court, or whether Crown Court trial is elected, they all start at the Magistrates Court. For international viewers, that's the lower court, and the Crown Court is with a jury, unless it's an appeal from the Magistrates Court. Frank Ferguson, head of the CPS Special Crime and Counter-Terrorism Division, said, following our review of an incident at Manchester Airport in July 2024, the Crown Prosecution Service has today issued charges against two individuals. This was a high-profile incident that attracted significant public interest and media coverage at the time. We've worked closely from the outset with investigators from the Independent Office for Police Conduct and Greater Manchester Police. Come back to them in a minute. We reviewed all the available evidence, including witness statements, video footage, expert reports, and other material related to police use of force, to make an independent and objective assessment about whether it's appropriate to present charges for the court to consider. Based on careful consideration of the evidence, we've concluded that two men should be charged with offences including assaults on police officers. We've concluded no charges should be brought against any officers. We examined potential offences of actual bodily harm and common assault, and reviewed expert evidence in the form of an independent report from an expert in the use of police force to inform the decision. We always ensure police training is also taken into account in the context of these decisions, and in the case, the combination of evidence and the expert opinion meant that there was no realistic prospect of conviction, obviously in respect of the police officers. We acknowledge that in this case, as in any other case, the strength of feeling has been high. That comes back to my warning of don't just post randomly online. You may find yourself in trouble. Our specially trained prosecutors are often at the forefront of dealing with high-profile cases, subject to intense public and media scrutiny, and will always make independent and objective decisions based on all available evidence. The CPS reminds everyone that criminal proceedings are active and that each of the defendants has the right to a fair trial. And again, coming back to that warning, it's extremely important that there's no reporting, commentary, or sharing of information online which could in any way prejudice these proceedings. And so the confirmation there that Mohammed Fahir Amaz is charged with Section 47 actual bodily harm ×2 assault against emergency worker, and common assault. That was with respect to a member of the public. Mohammed Ahmad is charged with Section 47 ABH, and the CPS Crime Division deals with the most complex cases and sensitive cases in England and Wales, including disasters, serious criminal allegations against police officers, corporate manslaughter, and election offences. There was a response from Greater Manchester Police here. We've charged, that's because they've been authorised by the CPS to charge these two men with assaulting police officers following the incident in July. They've authorised the charge, confirming the name. Chief Constable Stephen Watson says, I welcome today's decision from the CPS to charge two men with the assaults on our officers and a member of the public at Manchester Airport earlier this year. He says, I also welcome their decision to take no further criminal action against serving officers. I appreciate that a full and thorough independent investigation has led to this outcome. Following this decision, I've lifted the suspension of the officer involved. The IOPC's misconduct investigation continues, and we will continue to cooperate fully in that regard. Whilst cooperating fully with the IOPC in the discharge of their independent investigation into the conduct of our officers, Greater Manchester Police has offered support to our officers and will continue to do so in the coming months. I know that these matters have understandably generated a great deal of debate, scrutiny and speculation. We now have specific charging decisions, and the court proceedings must now be allowed to progress without the prejudice or taint that can emerge as a result of misplaced commentary, speculation, or the sharing of digital content. And then once again confirming those charges. So 4 charges against Mohammed Ahmad: common assault against a member of the public, ABH against a male police officer, ABH against a female police officer, and assault on emergency worker in respect of the female police officer B. And Mohammed Ahmad, ABH against the male police officer. And so that is the update. I just stress, don't be tempted to make bold statements and all of this nature. This is a high profile case. There will be people looking at what is posted online. Stick to what is officially reported. Stick to these official statements. You can comment generally without specific reference to this. For example, you may want to comment that, generally speaking, you support police officers in carrying out their duty, and you can generally say that you think it's unfair when they face such scrutiny, but at the same time, it is right that if they were found to have used excessive force, that they face consequences for that. And indeed, the IOPC investigation is ongoing. That may to some degree be informed by this decision today, because obviously that was yet to close. So expressing views generally is generally okay, but try, if you will, to limit what you say in respect of this case, not just because of your own personal safety from being targeted for what you say, for potential contempt of court, but also to ensure that there is a fair and due process in these cases now as they go forward. So that is the update. There's more videos to come. Please do like the video and subscribe. And as always, thank you for watching.